This session is being recorded. Thank you so much, Michael and Elise, joining us here today to tell us about EzzyBills. So I'll hand over to you. I believe it's Elise to maybe give us a brief overview of EzzyBills and share with us, with the community, an overview of EzzyBills and what we need to know about you.
Great. So thanks so much again, Heather, for inviting us to join. We're really excited to be here and have the opportunity to share a little bit more about EzzyBills with all of you. So my name is Elise and I'm the partner manager at EzzyBills. And so I'm generally the main point of contact with our bookkeeping and accounting partners. So here and available to answer questions and help onboard and just hang out and grab a virtual coffee if anybody's ever in the need for some communication in these working remote kind of days. And Michael is here as well. He's the co-founder of the business and responsible primarily for kind of the tech and development. So he's also very open and accessible if people are ever interested in, new features or something's not working. He helps take care of that. So for every solution, there's a problem. So before we sort of jump into the solution and before we start talking about EzzyBills and what we do, there's a few different problems that our clients have identified and that we have identified that we're here to solve. So one, and I think this is probably pretty obvious to most of you sort of working in the field, bringing bills into accounting apps manually is tedious and time consuming. Workflows related to invoicing can be manual and, may or may not work effectively. And some of the other solutions we've heard various feedback can be either expensive or clunky. And so we're trying to sort of find this middle ground of less expensive and less clunky than some of the other options out there. And so we've come up with a few different solutions. So for each problem, we've got a solution. So in terms of bringing documents into EzzyBills, one of the things that makes us unique and one of the solutions that we've come up with is actually the ability to process a variety of different invoice types. So in addition to supplier invoices, which are probably the bread and butter, we also process sales invoices, purchase orders, statements, credit notes, and spend money transactions. And those are all done in different ways that we'll probably leave for the more technical bit. But that's something I think that's really important. And a lot of customers do come to us because they need to process one or more of those types of documents. In terms of the workflows, and this is really what Michael is gonna focus on in the demo a little bit later, but we can do things like multi-level management approval, price checking, converting to a sale invoice, and extracting NDIS claim numbers. So I've just picked out a few of some of the highlights of the kind of stuff that we can do, but we've got, many different sort of options. The multi-level management approvals can be focused based on, if you want an approver based on a supplier or you want an approver based on an invoice amount, that kind of information can all be customized. Our price checking feature basically allows you to upload a price list of your supplier invoices. And then when an invoice comes through, it can automatically check that what they're billing you is actually the price that they've quoted you and notify you if there's any discrepancies in those things. Converting to a sale invoice is if you get a supplier that supplies you gadgets and then you're going to resell them. There's a way to sort of automatically convert that into a sale invoice, increase the price obviously by a percentage, and then send it out. And an NDIS claim is also something that people who work with NDIS clients, something that's really important for their processing, and we can handle those invoices as well. And then at a high level, we've got the line item details, and that comes through very accurately, and also with the codes. And so if the codes are set in Xero, then EzzyBills will bring across the codes for each of the line items and code them in your Xero. And a quick just note about the pricing. I know it's not going to be the focus, but one of the things that makes us different from some of the other players is our pricing is based on number of invoices processed as opposed to number of clients that you've got on the platform. And so basically what that means is, if you've got a number of small clients, some of them are not processing many invoices or whatever, you can just buy a subscription of a certain number of invoices and roll those out to as many clients as you like. So just a quick note about our integration. So I know this is mainly focused on Xero, but we do integrate with Myob and QuickBooks as well. And we also integrate with a number of project and job management software packages. And so these are just a sampling of some of the more common ones that we see, but there are a few other ones as well. And I just put the Google Drive there icon as well, because we also have an integration with Google Drive where we can pull invoices directly from Google Drive. So if somebody's been storing their invoices in Google Drive for a while, you don't actually have to pull them out and import them back in. We've just got a process where we can connect to Google Drive and pull those invoices automatically. And I guess just another note relating to Google, and this is relevant to Office 365 as well, is in addition to just being able to manually email invoices into EzzyBills, we also have an automatic workflow where you can have an email address set up, and all of the emails coming through to that email address can just be forwarded automatically into the EzzyBills system. So that's something else that's an option that works really well. So I think that's probably it for me. We'll pass it over to Michael, and he'll sort of jump into actually what it looks like and how it works.
Thanks, Elise. So I'll start sharing my screen. So hopefully everyone can see my screen now. So this is the EzzyBills website, and I'm just going to go straight in here and connect to an EzzyBill account. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to start by just basically showing you some basics of EzzyBills so you have a sense of what we do, and then I'll explain a few of the workflows which allow you to really automate your entire process, or the businesses automate their processes. So I've got a HQ account here, so I've got a lot of different EzzyBill accounts, and each EzzyBill account is connected to some kind of accounting system or inventory system or that. So I'm just going to go and connect to one system now. So this particular account is connected to a Xero. So when you create an EzzyBill account, you will put in a name, and that name is normally the name of your company. And so we'll create a new EzzyBill upload address, which will be your name at ezzybills.com. You'll also be able to sync, like Elise mentioned, sync your email with EzzyBill, so we can connect to your email and pull your invoices out of your email as well. So there's a variety of ways of getting data in. What I'm going to do, I'll just start by uploading a couple of invoices, and then I'll just kind of show you how EzzyBills works. So if we have a look at, so I just uploaded a couple of invoices then. So if we go and have a look at the workflow, so I've got this is the standard workflow. So if you create an EzzyBill account, connect EzzyBills to Xero, then this would be the workflow. We basically extract the data and push it into Xero. And the default behavior is push it in as a draft bill. So it takes about 20 seconds to do that. So this one's been uploaded into Xero. So I'm just going to click on here and have a look at it. So what we've done here is that bill has come into EzzyBills. EzzyBills is connected to Xero. The workflow is push the bill into Xero, and so that's exactly what's happened. So we've extracted all the details off the bill and put it into Xero. And for most of our customers, that's exactly what they want to do. A bill come in, draft bill in Xero, and they're done. Here's another one that we just did. Now, because EzzyBills extracts at a line level, so all these lines were extracted, we can code do account coding at a line level, but we can also do a taxing at a line level. So you can see on this bill, it's a food invoice, and so nearly everything, well, all the food items are tax-free except for the charge, the freight charge at the bottom, which is taxed. So because we've extracted at a line level, we're able to basically account for the freight independent of everything else. And so when you go and look at your accounts later on, you'll be able to see exactly how much each item costs, how much does the freight cost, things like that, rather than just having, say, two numbers, and a taxed and a non-taxed part. So that's sort of the basics of EzzyBills. That's what people use us a lot for. They forward their bills. They normally auto forward their bills through to EzzyBills, and we just put them in to Xero. The account coding, so if we have a look at here, because we coded a line level, we actually do a description coding as well. So if you've got a history, which is, say you've bought bananas in the past, then we look at your bill history, see how you've coded bananas in the past, and that's how we code it. So there's no setup as far as EzzyBills is concerned for things like account coding. We just use whatever the history is. So if you've got a Xero account that you've been using for a while, then you really don't need to do anything. You just upload the bills, and we'll be able to work out how to code it based on the history. Now, the main thing I wanted to cover today actually was a bit more complicated than just the standard workflow. So I wanted to go through a couple of more complicated workflows. So one of the workflows that's quite common is approvals. So once a business gets more than a few employees, it's quite common that people want to have bills approved before they go into Xero. So EzzyBills supports up to 4 levels of approval. And 4 levels sounds like a lot, but we do have customers that actually have 4 levels approval. It sounds like a lot of work to pay a bill, but and that's their processes. Now, one of the things about approvals is you often need to differentiate between bills that should be approved and should not be approved. And so we do have things called approval rules. And so what I'm going to demonstrate here is I've set up a couple of rules here. So if it's a Bunnings bill, then the bill needs to be approved, and it'll get sent to me for approval. And so I've set these rules up for level 1 approval, and for level 2 approval, anything over $150 will need to be approved. So I've built a couple of rules here. So a common situation is you might have project managers, and they approve depending on some criteria. So they would approve on a criteria, and then you might have the next level where they have to approve based on an amount. So if the amount was above something, then they have to do the approval. If it's below something, it can just go straight through. They don't care. So that's how the sort of the multi-levels tend to come in. There'll be someone at the end who might need to approve it if it's over 10,000 or something like that. So you can build up these rules to achieve that. So what I'm going to do now is I've just gone and activated this workflow. So before I was on the default workflow, but now I'm on this new workflow. So now when I upload the bill, so this is a Bunnings bill. So if we have a look at the approval rule that I set up for it, you'll see that because it's Bunnings, it's required for approval. And if it was something else, so if I go and upload something else, it would skip over this approval. It wouldn't need to do it. So that's just how I've set it up. So this bill has been emailed to me for approval. So if we go and have a look now, we can have a see. So this bill has now come into me. So I'm the person responsible for approving this bill. Because it's for Bunnings, it's come to me. I can add a note to it if I want to. I might want to add a note and attach some additional document, or I might just want to approve it. So it's totally up to me, so I can, or I might mention which job it's for or something like that. I can also attach another document to it. It might be the some sort of delivery docket or something like that. And now I'm just going to approve it. So this bill is gone through the approval now. It's now gone to the second level of approval. And if we have a look at the second level, I think it was, if the bill was over $150, then it would need to be approved. But this bill it's only 128, so it didn't need to be approved on the second level. So it has been pushed into Xero. And you'll see there's a couple more attachments now. There's the bill that was uploaded. There's also like an audit trail that the invoice has been through. So that basically tells anyone, when they're coming around to paying the bill, they can see who approved it, any notes. And I also attached another document as well, which would be maybe a confirmation or something like that. So that's an approval workflow. So commonly used by EzzyBill customers. You can just set up whatever your approval processes are. You'll be able to set them up in EzzyBills, and EzzyBills can basically control that for you. I'm going to show you another workflow now. So now, probably what I should do is, let me just show you what I'm doing here. So before the call, I actually went in and created these workflows. And the way you create workflows is, we've got a lot of different work tasks, adding jobs, count splitting, all sorts of things. And you're basically able to build up your own workflow like this. So for example, if I wanted to have an approval workflow with some sort of job splitting or account splitting and things like that, I can just basically do that. I can just create my own custom workflow. And if I make it the default workflow, then everything coming into EzzyBills will go on this workflow. You can set multiple workflows, and you can have bills going to different workflows, etc. For example, if you're using a job management or an inventory system, maybe half the bills need to go straight into Xero, the other half have to go through the inventory system. Then you can do that. You can set up a couple of workflows, and EzzyBills can manage that. So the bill might go into the inventory system, then EzzyBills might push that bill through to Xero, or the inventory system might push the bill through to Xero, and then all the other bills go through EzzyBills. So in this case here, what I'm going to do is, this is I guess an example of where might be say related to a car cost, or it might be insurance, or it might be electricity, where the bill comes in and you need to allocate it across a different account code. So some of it might be for personal use, some of it might be for business use, and so you want to split it before it goes into Xero. So this is what an account split does. It basically, if a $100 bill comes from Telstra, you can split it 30/70 or something like that. So you can create a workflow for that. So if I upload a bill now, what's going to happen is it's going to do a 30. So this is insurance related. So it's going to do a 30/70 split across two different account codes and go into Xero. And so it'll be split automatically as part of the workflow. And so like all the other ones, it takes about 20 seconds to extract the data and push it out into Xero. And yeah, so if we're going to have a look at the...
So while we're waiting for that to come through,
yeah.
Someone has asked if it's available in the USA.
Oh, yes. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US, South Asia, UK, Ireland, yeah. Anywhere Xero is available, and South Australia. Anywhere Xero is available, Australia's available. Oh, I mean,
EzzyBills available.
Yeah.
I've had another question which is relevant to what you're doing at the moment. Can EzzyBills identify different accounts with the same supplier, for example, with Telstra?
So yeah, so I guess in the case of Telstra, Telstra is really, there's no table details. If there were table details in a Telstra bill, so a bill which had a description like for internet, or a line which has for like phone or something like that, then we will look at the history in the Telstra bill. So if you've got internet and there's you're coding at 300 or something like that, and then there's internet and you're coding at 320, then we'll look at the history, and then we'd code it based on that. Absolutely, that'd be the default behavior. This is similar to that, and this, except that we're forcing it to be 300 and 321. That was what we had in the workflow. So 30%, I think 30% or 70% was going through to personal, and the 70% of personal, 30% was just as a normal purchase. So that's what the account code splitting was for that. But if we have a look at say on where are we, on this particular bill, so all of these were coded the same way. However, you can imagine if I came in here and I changed this to cost of goods, and then I saved and then approved that. If I now upload this bill again, then EzzyBills will see that we've coded Mender in a different way, and it would do it like that.
So the follow-on to that is, so the account code splitting is based on items and not on suppliers.
The account code splitting is based on, well, I think I might have miscommunicated. So we're talking about two separate things here. So okay. in the case of this bill here, the account code is happening at a description item level. It's happening at an item level. Because there were 14 odd items on the bill, we looked at each item in Xero, looked for those descriptions, and then we coded them at an item level. So that particular bill, and the Telstra case where you were talking about, which had like internet and phone, that would be at an item level we're coding, because there's two items and we're coding them at an item level. This workflow that I created, this is like a custom workflow that I set up to demonstrate workflows. It's being coded at a workflow level. So we've set up a workflow and it'll be coded at a workflow level. So this is happening at a workflow level. So anything uploaded to this workflow will be coded this way. So you can think of it as at a supplier level or a workflow level. They're about synonymous. Similar to, I'm going to enable a job split now. Similar logic here. So it's not unusual for a business can receive, say, all their bills, and what they need to do is allocate a certain cost across multiple, not cost centers, but multiple jobs. So I know of a customer who their bills come in and they've got about 30 different jobs that every bill needs to be allocated with, and they just, there's like 5% here, 10% here. And that's an incredibly tedious job if you had to do it manually, and that's for every bill. So what you can do with EzzyBills is you can create a workflow, add a job split, and you can actually specify the jobs and how you want it split across it. So in this case here, I've set up two jobs. So it could be like a builder. I've set up two jobs in Xero, or two tracking options. and those tracking options are being allocated 30 and 70%. So now when I, and I've switched to this workflow. So now when I upload to this particular workflow, what's going to happen is the job is going to get, the bill will get allocated across those two jobs. And you can put as many as you want, but basically it's going to split it across those two jobs. And but when it comes to like there's I won't cover all the different things. I would say that pretty much everything that anyone's likely want to do, we would have it as part of our workflow. So in this case here, we can actually allocate item codes based on the supplier. So it seems like an unusual situation, but it comes up where a bill gets uploaded and they want to, for a particular supplier, they want a certain item code used. And so that's what happens. The bill comes in, EzzyBills allocates the item based on who the supplier is. And you can upload a list of all your suppliers. So you'd upload a list of your suppliers and their item codes. So we've got a whole host of different workflows that you can build up to achieve the scenarios. You can have email forwarding, all sorts of things that you can include in your workflow. And basically, the plan is to totally automate those documents.
Can I ask, you integrate with Zahara, which is a workflow approval solution. Why is there the need to integrate with Zahara when you have the approvals happening within your solution?
I guess it's actually around the other way. Zahara integrates with us. So we extract the details and we hand it off to them. So we integrate with Zahara.
So where is the approval workflow happening?
In the case of Zahara?
No. Yeah. So if you're integrated with Zahara, the thing is, you just demonstrated that you have all these workflow approvals in EzzyBills.
Yep.
So who has the priority on those workflow approvals?
Okay. So what EzzyBills do? So Zahara integrates with us. Zahara sends the bill to us. We extract the details. So we identify the supplier, the line item details. It might be a purchase order, bills, purchase order. We do all that for Zahara. Then we hand the data back to them. So they use us. I guess that's the way. So if you're using Zahara, then you're probably using us under the covers to do the work for them, and then it comes back to them. So yeah. So this was this bill that I uploaded where I did the job splitting. So this bill has come in. The builder wants the job to be split across two different projects, and that's exactly what we've done. We've split them across two different projects. So that's just another example of how the workflow can be used to achieve what you want.
So when we're looking at that, how do I, on a history basis or on an audit basis, know how you calculated that split? Because the quantity says 1:1. So I don't know, how do I go back if I'm just coming in and looking at that? How do I go back and identify where that's what triggered that split? Okay, so a couple of things. So in the case of this particular bill here, so for example, when we processed it without the job split, then we would have brought through all the line item details off the bill, and the quantity is 1. In the case of the job split, the person's interested in not so much the quantities, but just the allocation. And every document associated with that EzzyBills puts into Xero, there'll be a document ID. So you can come into EzzyBills and you can search for it, or you can go from EzzyBills, click on a link and come back to it. And if you have a look at our log, you'll see basically the details about the fact that it did a job split, etc. And so it's,
that's evidence that it's done it. What it did is based on what was, in your settings for the job split, which is this here. So 70-30.
So there wasn't a quick way for me to go, 30%, 70%.
It's not so much a quick way to see what it is, except that you probably set it up to do something and uploaded to it. So it's not really doing anything under the covers. It's doing what you told it to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I've pretty much covered what I was trying. My aim today was really to show you that in addition to being able to extract all the data and put it into to Xero, we can also do more complicated workflows. So we can do everything you'd probably expect EzzyBills to do, such as expense claims, spend money transactions, statement reconciliation. So you can upload a statement and we can, do reconciliations. So you upload a statement, we look into Xero, find all the bills for a particular statement, and we'll generate a report, and we do all those sort of things. But I also wanted to show you the fact that we can do customized workflows, approvals, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some questions have come through. Are you okay to answer them now?
Absolutely.
Melinda, would you like to jump on and ask your question? Are you around?
I don't remember what I asked.
Can EzzyBills do the account code?
Can EzzyBills do account code splitting for us?
Yeah. So what scenario? What scenario are you talking about?
Well, say the bill comes through. It maybe come back like to the fresh fruit example, where you may have fruit on one and meat on the other.
Yep.
Can the bill split between two different general ledger accounts, one fresh food and one meat general ledger? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the scenario, I guess in the scenario I was talking about, so if we just come back here. So what I'm going to do, so I'll just show you. So in this example here, this is that I was showing you. This is like just fresh food, but you can imagine on this one here, you can imagine, let's say instead of just fresh food, let's say there was a line which was, say, meat, rump steak, eye fillet, whatever, and in Xero, in the past, when you've been entering all the information, you've been specifying, fresh food, and then when it comes to the meat, you've specified at a line level, you specified the meat. And so what EzzyBills would do is we would look at your history, right? And so if in this case, this has been coded as fresh food because that's how I've coded in the past. But if I had, say, rump steak here, so if this was rump, and let's say that, and let's say for the rump steak, I've gone and coded it to something else. So I wouldn't have anything cleaning, right? Let's say it was coded to cleaning for some reason. All right, then what's going to happen is just go and approve the bill. So when I approve the bill, I'm basically telling EzzyBills to trust my information. So I've gone and made a mistake. Something.
So it's basically a two-way communication. Once you make a change within Xero to a previous allocation, that will bounce it back to EzzyBills and say, for future rump steaks that come through, it'll come through under this general ledger account.
Exactly. Yes.
It's because cleaning has GST on it. That's your problem.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's. Yeah. So So if I uploaded a bill now which had rump steak on it, and it can be for any supplier, but you can imagine EzzyBills now has a list of all these descriptions, including rump steak, and rump steak's been coded this way. So when a bill comes with rump steak comes in, then it'll get coded that way. So in your case, you should only have to connect EzzyBills to your Xero, upload the bill, and if your bill has rump steak on it and you're coding it a certain way, then that's exactly how we will code it. And and that's the reason why EzzyBills is so heavily used in the food industry, restaurants and that sort of stuff for that exact purpose. So yeah, and sometimes people even use item codes as well. So I haven't entered item codes, but EzzyBills will extract item codes and put item codes in as well. So we can do item codes, yeah.
Thank you for that. Deb, did you want to jump in and ask your question? So Deb, if Deb's not there, I'll ask it on her behalf. She's asked when pushing, she said she can't, sorry. When pushing a bill to accounting software, does it match up with relevant purchase orders?
Yes, so in the default, if you connected EzzyBills to Xero, uploaded a bill, we're not doing PO matching. You need to turn it on. So you'd come into settings in here, and basically you click this button here, and basically what this button is doing is basically telling EzzyBills to start reading the PO numbers off bills. So I'm just going to save that. So what would happen now is if I uploaded this bill, if this bill had a PO on it, then EzzyBills will read the PO off the bill, look up Xero, and if we find the PO, then we're basically going to convert that PO into a bill. And so things like tracking information, account code, if you've got them on the PO, they'll come across into the bill, and the bill will go into Xero. And the PO, if the PO is within a tolerance, it will close off the PO, and that tolerance is configurable. So in a typical scenario, if you're using POs, then yes, just enable it, and then EzzyBills will start matching POs, closing off POs, things like that. And that's something we do all the time for, say, job management, inventory systems. And you can set up workflows. You can actually require purchase orders. So and this is where the sort of the workflow can come in. So you can actually add this to your workflow. So if, for example, you're in a business where every bill needs to have a PO, and you can add this to your workflow, this check PO. And what's going to happen is we're going to check that the bill has a PO. And if it does, it'll go straight through. And if it doesn't, it will wait for you to make a decision about, whether this should be allowed into Xero or not if there's no PO, if we can't find a PO for it. So we certainly support the basic case, but you can also then create a workflow a bit more complicated so that you can require the purchase order.
Well, Deb says lovely. So sounds like you've answered her question there. So thank you for that, Michael. Joy has also asked a question. Joy, do you want to jump on and ask your question? Otherwise I can. Oh, here she is. Hey, Joy.
Hi. Yeah, sorry, I joined in late. Does EzzyBills connect to other programs other than Xero? Because you get a lot of wholesalers that use like Unleashed and Sin7 and Deer and things like that, and they actually push their orders from that program to Xero. So do you push bills to those programs or planning on it?
So we integrate the inventory systems we integrate with, the ones that you mentioned. So we integrate with Deer, and we integrate with SimPRO. So they're the two that we integrate. Now, in the case of a typical workflow for, say, Deer, so I'll just come in here. and tidy as well. So if I just create a DIA workflow, I'll just have a quick look at it. So in the case of DIA, what people always use purchase orders for DIA. And so they would upload their bills into EzzyBills. EzzyBills will then look up the PO in DIA. And normally the way it works in DIA is you'd create a PO, and then EzzyBills will come in, find the PO, and then basically create the bill from what was uploaded into EzzyBills. We'll create the bill in DIA for you. And then typically after we've done that, then DIA would push whatever it wanted through to Xero. So we're taking care of the upfront part of it.
You planning on doing any other integrations like Vend?
We're always actively adding new integrations. So the Vend isn't on our list of things to do.
Okay.
Right now, but like there's so many inventory systems out there.
I know.
It can be a never-ending battle to try and keep up with them. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Certainly,
I'll
if people come out and request something, then there's a reasonable chance that we'll go and end up doing the integration.
With your statement checker as well, will it do that? Does it do that in DIA? Can you check your statements against orders in DIA like you can with Xero?
No, statement reconciliations is just
Xero.
the accounting systems.
Okay, that's cool.
We haven't added it for DIA. I'm not sure.
Thank you. I'll just keep an eye on your website though. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you so much there, Joy and Michael. Are there any other questions while the demo is being shown here? Does anyone else have any questions that they want to jump on or ask in the chat area? I did have a question in terms of, and I'm not sure, at the very beginning, you said that you were extracting the NDIS number.
Yeah.
What would happen with that number once you've extracted it? Is it just sitting there as a piece of information?
So I guess there's a couple of different workflows that people use us for. So there are, I guess, call them, they're like bill payers for. So if you're a service provider for NDIS, then basically your invoices have to be allocated to a person. So if I do a service for someone, and that number that is basically that everything associated with me is going to be on the invoice. And so companies that use us for processing these NDIS invoices, they need that information to come through to them.
Okay.
So if we have a look at the log, then you can actually find information in here. So we do store all the information, and that is accessible through APIs and things like that. So people who use us typically use us that way through a provider, and we read out that information, make it available to them, etc.
These X-rays from the doctor for the
Oh, I don't know what that is. Oops, not sure what that was. Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. And Elise was just mentioning to me earlier, you have a new functionality out, which is multi-currency and the ability to read. No, not multi-currency. The ability to read different languages.
Yeah, so primarily used in Europe, but you can use it if you're on holidays in Taiwan or things like that. But yeah, you can.
On business in Taiwan.
It's a holiday destination, Taiwan. Yeah, so in our
But we
settings,
wouldn't be putting it through our EzzyBills solution if we were on holiday. Not that I'm giving you tax advice.
so yeah, you can specify the language here, and yeah, we'll process it appropriately. So yeah, any language, we can handle any language at all.
Goodness, there's a few
that's all
languages there I've
languages.
never heard of.
They're all the languages of the world.
So you'd have to tell it before it arrives into the solution.
Yeah, there are a couple of things, you know, a couple of things working against the person who thinks they live all around the world all the time. So when you process a bill, it's pretty important to know what country you're in, because, you know, you think like ABN numbers, taxes, all that sort of stuff. We're not, you know, countries are all different, and the same with language. So yeah, we do require you to specify the language that you want us to process. We can do it in a like a supplier invoice level, but generally it's someone in Singapore wants to process Chinese invoices or something like that, and they would configure appropriately.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for that. Does anyone else have any questions? Awesome. So thank you so much, Michael and Elise, for joining us here today. We really appreciate it. How can people get in contact with you?
So I'm happy to pop my details into the chat. People can reach out to me at any time. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you've got questions of a more technical nature, best to email our support team, whose details I'm also popping into the chat, who are really available to help. And I guess I'll just throw it out there from a non-technical person. If anything that Michael showed looks cool, but maybe a little bit complicated to set up, our support team is really good and available. And if you tell them what you want, they'll help you set up and customize those workflows just to make sure everything's set up and running properly. So just to throw it out there that that's available as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Elise and Michael, for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having us. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks very much.